That's the old one we cut out of the floor pad. Here's the new one that we've made to replace it. Here's the piece that gets attached to the under seat on the driver's side for a 70 Duster. And there it is, assembled to the under seat part right here. This is where the seat track goes on the driver's side. So stick around the channel and check it out. See how we make it. Welcome, fellow shop rats. Today, here in the shop, we are back on the Forsyth Duster, working on this piece of rusty floor pan that we need to have done before we can really tear into replacing that rocker panel. So I'm going to explain my philosophy behind why this has to be done before the rocker panel, and well, there's just going to be stuff, and we're going to do the stuff that you guys like the most, where I really dig into fabricating and bead rolling and really working with sheet metal to replace a piece of garbage like this. Let's watch the show intro. We'll see you in about 27 seconds. I'm Mike, and this is My Car Shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Car's Shop.
You might ask the question, why in the world would I need to make the floor pan before I replace the rocker panel? Well, I kind of alluded to that in the last episode, but I'm going to elaborate on that more. First of all, it's not the external rocker panel, it's the inner rocker. And there are certain things that need to kind of line up. There are brackets that need to go in there, and well, there's just stuff that needs to be put in the car. But this is kind of going to be the reference point, because we do have our drill holes for where things go, where these brackets go, where these holes all line up. So when we buzz all that stuff out of the car, you're going to see going to be able to see where all this stuff has to go back, because we have the floor pan we can line up to make sure that those brackets and braces are all in the right spot. So there's a method to the madness. Remember, the stuff that we do here isn't just about a 70 Duster or a 70 Challenger or one of the other 13 projects we have here, but it's work that you can apply directly to anything that you're doing. So we could keep talking about it, or we could just do it. So let's start making some patterns and some templates and getting some things figured out here that we're going to do, clean this up a little bit so we know exactly where our boundaries are going to be, and we'll get this made. So I kind of got a piece of my shirt or my poster board from Walmart. I just buy this stuff. It comes in, used to come in like 3x4 or something sheets. It doesn't anymore. They're smaller, but they come in 22 inch by 28. But anyway, big enough for most of the stuff I need to do. So I trimmed it so this edge here lines up perfectly along this edge here. So that's my reference datum point. I had to put a slice in it here to allow for that, because it curves. And then of course we're going to have curve, all around in here. But I made it like 3/4 of an inch bigger or more all the way around. And I will probably make this end longer as well, and then trim it to fit once I get it in the car. But I just needed a starting point to know exactly what I'm making. And so I can take this over to my sheet metal over there now and lay it out and get myself a piece cut so that we can start making this inner piece. So once we get that inner piece made, then we will decide how we're going to make this outer piece. This is pretty good in here. So what I think I might do is just make a piece to replace this, and then come over here and make a piece to replace this. Some of this is too long. It needs to be cut off in here anyway. I do need to call up and see if the floor pan is in for the front, because that would help me with my boundaries for what goes in here, but not really too worried about that. Notice there's no crickets in the shop today. My co-host quit. All right, I got it laid out here now, so we'll get out our cutter. So we got our piece cut now. Just gotta get all of our, So I think the next step to do, gotta remember which way this goes. See up, it's like this. I think we gotta kind of sorta, yeah, I gotta think about that. I forgot that we got a compound angle here where we bend this way, but then we bend this way. So that may have to be done in a couple of pieces. In light of that, I need to revisit my template. Give me 1 second and we'll get that done. Pretty comfortable with that. So I just need to kind of go, I'm gonna say about here, over to about here, I think. Could be a little more up this way. Rather be a little bit too long than too short. I think that'll work. Yeah. Well, not quite there yet. Let's go there. Okay. So I got to draw a straight line across that somehow or another. Not using that edge, we'll use the factory edge. Here. Yeah, that should work. Something like about like that. Okay. I feel like I should bring that line down though so that I have more material here because I have plenty here. If you see, where I'm at here, I've got a good couple of inches of overlap. So I'm gonna move this down about an inch. Maybe a little more then. Just to make sure I've got plenty of material to come together in here when I get to that point. Okay, now let's see how that looks. Did I go too much? Maybe a little bit too much. No, I don't think so. I think we'll be okay there. Okay, let's see how this goes against our metal. Like so. Yeah, that's gonna work. So what I'll do is I'll start from this, because I got a little more material here anyway. So what I'm gonna do is, maybe we'll split the difference a little bit here. Just go like here to here. And just grabbing any old straight edge, sort of, straight. Yeah, that's not the best. That's a little bit whoopty. That edge there's straight. I'll use this one. Okay, I could spend time digging around finding my straight edge, my square. It's over there on the wall. By the time I walk over there, I got it done. I'm only looking for something reasonably close to straight. I'm gonna cut this off now, and then we can start making this piece here. We'll have this piece for this. Very good, now I need my marker. Here, marker. Did you run off with the tape measure again?
You two are something else.
Okay, it was in my pocket. Now what we're gonna do is, figure out exactly, first of all, figure out exactly which end goes where. So this goes this way. So that might be helpful to keep in mind. And then what's got to happen is we got to kind of figure out where these rolls are. So the bottom roll is there and there. We'll double check this with a tapeworm. And the bottom roll is kind of there and there. Now we've got a couple of compound rolls here like this, and I don't know, I haven't thought this through very well, exactly how I'm going to make that. I'm thinking, I don't think I have the proper die for my bead roller to make that. I could tip it. That might be the best way to do it, is to tip this edge this way and then tip this edge that way. Because then I can come around the corner as well, and I can just use the shrinker stretcher to pull things so it stays flat. I got to think also through, when I do this, can I bead roll it to get these in here? Because there's two bead lines. Those probably should be done first. So yeah, I think we should do those first. So let's get our lines laid out. We'll figure out exactly, not that it's got to be factory perfect, but we'll figure out where those two beads need to be. We'll get those rolled in there, and then we'll look at tipping this edge around here the way it needs to be to tip it up. And then we will tip the other edge. I think we should be able to tip the other edge the other way, hopefully. You can see we got a little bit of stretching in there. I thought about pre-stretching the metal to keep it from doing that, but I know I've got so much other work to do in here that I think I'm not going to worry about it, because by the time I tip this edge around, we could just make a big pretzel and this could be all scrap metal. But well, I don't think so. I think we're going to be all right, so we'll see. Massive fun of doing this stuff by yourself is that you're doing it by yourself, and I don't have the $400 unit to power the bead roller, so you kind of get what you get when you're by yourself. So some of these bends aren't going to be maybe quite as nice as they could be. Helps if you stay on track. I think we're going to have a problem the more I'm looking at this. 99% sure I'm going to run into issues here as I tip this up. We'll see. I don't think it's going to clear in the roller. Maybe it will. Remember what I said about experience. Experience is what you get by making mistakes. And mistakes is what gives you experience. Not trying to get carried away, we're just trying to get ourselves aligned. Okay, yeah, maybe we'll be all right. I'm concerned when we get coming around this bottom edge, what's going to happen. Let the bead roller do the work as much as possible. Obviously, I'm going to put some up pressure on it to tip this. You've seen me tip many an edge, especially when I was doing the rear frame rails. This is what concerns me here. Is this going to... It's going to be a problem, I can tell. We're going to have to trim this off in here a little bit because this corner is going to catch. And the same problem here. But we'll do it as much as we can. I think I got a way to do this. Maybe. We'll see. Let's be a little more aggressive here. Oops, walked off my line. There we go. Well, there we go. Like I said, trying to do it by yourself, turn the crank and so forth makes it a challenge. But we're getting there. So I'm going to have a problem here. I'm going to have to nip this and do this differently. But it was worth a shot. See if we can get this one bent a little bit more, then we'll compare our edges and see how we're doing. I think what I'm going to do is just snip. Got to think about that a minute, but that might be what I'm going to do. But I'm happy with this. So now we can figure out our dimension here and tip this edge this way. And notice how this is starting to flatten out a little bit now. I figured that would happen. It's got a lot more, well, it's a lot less crooked here. We can kind of, a little. Of course, our end down here's got this screwed up too. So, but it's the start. Okay, so because of the change I made up here, I sliced that. I went ahead and drew my lines where the other's going to be. I'm just going to do that in the sheet metal break. So I did the typical little cut so I know where my lines are. I can flip this over and bend it the way I need to bend it. And that again is going to help straighten this back out a little bit. So we'll also straighten it out when we get down here, but we're a ways away from that yet. So that's going to take a little cogitating, but we're getting there. So one of the things that we need to do is, you know, I did this already, but I wanted you to see what I did. Need to pound this down, so I just use a socket and just kind of come around here and just kind of form it. So you can see that we're still just a little bit twisted, not much. So all of the bending kind of did what I expected it would do. But I think if we go along here and I think about this, we shrink and stretch this a little bit, that's going to pull that back where I want it to be. So I'll get the shrinker stretcher put in the vise here and we'll play with that a little bit and see if we can help it's just twisted just a little bit.
That's okay. So am I.
It's a little better. It's still got a little bit of a twist to it. It oil cans back and forth, but so I should have pre-stretched this. That was a mistake, but this is usable, so we'll be fine. So the next step now is to go over there and get the other pieces made that this attaches to, and that's going to help bring it right around where it needs to be. All right, now that we got that kind of fitted, we're going to go ahead and cut a piece. This piece is okay. This piece is okay. So we'll do a cut and butt there. We're going to need to cut a piece to put in here next, and then we can cut and butt that together. Yeah, that should work. So little by little, we're getting there. So I need to make this piece next. So from about here over, that should be pretty straightforward. Okay, so we got our template made now, so that's going to work well. We'll have a little bit of a fill to do right there, but that ain't going to be any big deal. So yeah, we are getting there. 100% we're getting there. Some of this I might do that here in the car when we're putting it back together again. The piece is laying here, I've got it done. That might be the best way to do that one, but I've obviously got to have most of this intact. So from here over, we're good. So we'll have, just a minute here, we'll have this part done. We'll have this part done here so that everything from here, I'm leaving this extra long because I don't remember exactly where the floor pan comes into this, and I don't have the floor pan yet, so we'll figure that out later. So everything from here to about here, well, here obviously is going to be good. So we'll be able to weld that in, and then we'll need to make the piece over there yet. For those that are new to the channel, you can cut curves with a cutoff wheel if you're just very careful, very slow, and just work your way around over and over like this. Get yourself in a good position. I might need to come at it this way. This probably would be the best way to do this one. Work my way around like that. Obviously with the grinder on. And if you just work your way slowly, you'll cut right through that and make a nice curve. We'll show you here and how I do it. I didn't quite get that the way I wanted it, but it's close enough for what we're doing here, so it'll work on the edge and with a very sharp radius like that. It was really hard to do that right on the edge of that metal. And I wasn't fixated the best. I should have had a piece of wood under it. Okay, we're getting there. Just got to make some decisions here now about which way I want to go with this. Okay, we're about ready to start welding this in now. So I'm going to take a break, go get some lunch, and come back out. And I think we'll get these pieces joined together. Then I'll need to make a decision on how much I'm going to cut away. I think I know, but I just need to think about it for a little bit. So I'm going to do a cut and butt on these two, obviously. Well, not obviously, but I'm going to. And then I may cut away a bunch of the stuff underneath and just do the cut and butt like here. And of course, we still need to make a piece over there. So I need to decide if I'm going to make that piece first or wait on that one. I'm not sure yet, so... All right, I'm back from lunch and I took time to get some clecos in here. So the next thing I want to do is, now that I know where all my clecos are going to be, I'm going to go through and I'm going to tack weld this to that. And then once those two pieces are joined as one, I can eliminate these clecos, of course. I have enough clecos here, I think I'll stick one more here, that I can cut out most of that pan underneath. And everything should remain intact. So that's kind of my goal. Next, I think this piece here is the piece that goes something like that, I think. I'm not gonna worry about that one right now. It's gotta be formed and bent. And I think we'll do that in the car. When we go to put it back in, I think that'll be the best way to do that once all of this other rusty metal is gone. So we're making progress for sure. Okay, so we got our piece kind of cut to fit now. So we got to do a little bendage here and down there just to get it to fit in where I want it. But I think it's going to work well with this once it's in place. Obviously, it's going to look similar to this. So yeah, good progress, good progress. Just need to, and there we go. A little bit of progress there. We've got a little bit of massaging and a few things to do, but for the most part, that's going to work. So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. So the next step now is to go through here and... I don't even know about that. But I was thinking I was going to cut and butt this pieces together, but the more I look at it, I'm not sure I'm going to. Stronger this way. I can weld it on both sides, and it'll give that floor pan a lot more strength if I don't cut and butt. So while I was initially going to, the more I think about it, the more I think I'm just gonna put it in there, which means I'll put this together, and then I need to make an executive decision on what I'm cutting out. I mean, there's going to be most of the metal underneath there, obviously going to be cut out. Yeah, that's the thing for me on this stuff is I work on it and then I make a decision. I change my mind. I just kind of go with what my instincts tell me. There's no right or wrong way to do this for the most part, as long as it's strong. Heck, I know a guy who even used a truck floor pan to fix his A-body. Right, Daddy?
And that turned out awesome. I think it was phenomenal. And I love that. That's the true spirit of the hot rodder. That's the true spirit of the DIY guy. He's building a race car. He had truck pans. He put them in there. If I remember, which I probably won't, but go over to Doug's Adventure and check out the floor pans he put in his four-door Dart race car. Did a great job on it. I'm just tickled. There we go. Now I got to figure out where I'm going to cut. I think the easiest way for me to figure that out is just simply to and then take my cutoff wheel and start trimming. I got to make sure that I leave enough materials, obviously, for it to hold everything together so it doesn't twist and tweak. But maybe we'll go stick it in the car real quick and just see how it's fitting. There you go. Fits like a glove.
It must be love.
This piece cut off now. So hopefully we can successfully join that other one. I got a little bit of work to do here, but I just want to make sure I have enough for my Cleco in there. So, because I want to cut this out here, just a little bit of that rust there as well. I need to hammer that up too and get that fixed real quick. That's kind of bent down. So I'll get that taken care of, and then we'll figure out exactly where that floor pan piece goes, and we'll go from there. There's the piece it gets attached to. It's the under seat on the driver's side for a 70 Duster. And there it is, assembled to the under seat part right here. This is where the seat track goes on the driver's side. So stick around the channel and check it out. See how we make it. Roughed in spot now, so I'll know. I mean, we're not exactly in spot, but close enough. These holes can line up. I'll know where those under seat brackets go once I get to putting the inner rocker in. So that was the method behind this. Was I needed to have some kind of reference, all dimension and things, but it's still, I know where these drilled out, and I know where those holes line up. So it's pretty much a no-brainer at that point. It's back just about 1/4 of an inch. You can see that over there I'm not quite lining up. That's a piece of the other floor that I cut out, and I used it as a reference. Clecoed it there. I've not got this all welded up yet. That's by design. I want to get this inner rocker done. I need to get that torsion bar cross member done, and then get that inner floor, that front floor pan, and get everything mated. And if I need to take this back apart, right now it's just tacked together and Clecoed together until I get everything to fit. I also need to order this rear seat pan. I could make it pretty simple, but if we can order it, if it's available, that's what we're going to do. So remember that a lot of these parts aren't available now. That's why I made this part here. If we can't get that rear seat pan, I will just make it, but I'm hoping I'll be able to get it ordered. I haven't taken time to look to see if it's available yet, but this one, I believe, is the one that's going to be in, probably might already be in. The one over there will be in about the end of October. So not too long after you guys actually see this, because I think this is slated for mid-October, 16, 17, I don't know, somewhere in that area. So big progress on the Forsyth Duster for sure. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate all of Bob's family members who are here following along on the project. I apologize that it has taken me a while to get to it, but as you know, I need time to cogitate and think, and just kind of, mind meld with the project to tell me what it needs. But I've really had a burn on to get after that. And some of the parts aren't available, of course, as I've mentioned, so we're getting what we can, making what we can't, but I don't think we're that far. If I was able to stay on it, which I'm going to be back on the Challenger again soon, but if I was able to stay on it, I don't think we're that far away from having that rocker panel and that torsion bar cross member back in the car. The floor pans are easy from that point, so especially because we're buying most of it. So that'll be big progress, definitely, on that project. Of course, as always, I'll have all kinds of cleanup welding to do like that, just like I still haven't done on stitches. But you understand the method to my madness there. I know that's not something everybody agrees with. But when I'm doing this level of fabrication and making this many pieces, I just like to make sure everything's going to fit together before I start getting crazy welding everything up solid. So that's the method to my madness. You don't have to do it that way. I know it makes for a pain, but honestly, like where we're at with stitches, I could have all the welding finished up in this car, in the floor pans, in about a half a day if I would just get after it, and I will. The next step on stitches is now to get that hump, the 4-speed hump made for the floor. The driver's side floor pans are pretty much done. Then we need to get over and make the ones on the passenger side. So again, this isn't going to be terribly long either. I want to do some roof work on it while it's on the rotisserie as well, get things buttoned up there. But I don't think we're terribly far away from being able to get this car back down on the ground. There's a lot of cleanup to get the suspension put back in it and all that stuff. But some of that stuff doesn't take terribly long. And then once this is off and rolling around on its own again, Duster will be stripped. It's not stripped as in the paint. We're leaving the paint on that car alone, but we'll strip it down, take everything off of it, and get it on the rotisserie so we can really get after patching up the stuff underneath that needs to be done. We're over on the Face thing. We're over on Instant Grandma. She loves us and buys us cookies and stuff like that. So check us out over there. We're here on the U thing, of course, so /mycarshop. Hit the bell, subscribe, not in that order. Make comments, go over to the community tab, say something. Don't forget to check out our MKS Fabrication and Metalwork group over on Facebook. We just got so many ways that we have our community going. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate the awesome support. I appreciate everything you guys do to make this channel work. It's fun to see it grow. I appreciate all the stuff you send me. I appreciate the donations. I couldn't do it without you. All right, that'll do it. Rock!